Friends, family, and fans, welcome back to Back 9 Bets. Episode 31, X Gon Give It To Ya, presented by rotoballer.com. Yes, you heard me right. We are now presented by rotoballer.com. The beautiful, wonderful people at rotoballer.com are now sponsoring Back 9 Bets. And if you want to win big in 2022 with rotoballer.com's PGA Premium Pass, Rotoballer's premium DFS package includes exclusive tools, DFS cheat sheets, research stations, our lineup optimizer, and so much more to help you win big. For a limited time, get your PGA Premium Pass for 50% off. Use code MANIAC for another 10% discount on top of that. Just visit rotoballer.com/radio, sign up today, and start rotoballing like a boss. I'm going to get better at that intro. I'm going to learn those words nicely because they are sexy. They mean a lot to me. It means we are going places on this channel. It means that we got the right people behind us. It means that you can also win yourself a free premium package if you go to the YouTube channel and you comment on who's going to ball out like a boss at the Open. Let me know in the comments who's going to ball out, and then I'll pick a lucky winner. That way you guys get yourself a free premium pass. You get all of Joe Nicely's wonderful stuff. You get all of Spencer Aguiar's wonderful stuff. He is a machine when it comes to the betting side of things. Follow all of his picks. He's making tons of cash out there. Go check it out. Use code MANIAC. That being said, I jumped right into that. I'm excited. We are presented by rotoballer.com. Back 9 bets for the British Open. X gon' give it to you. Let's check what we are getting ourselves into this week. We're playing at St. Andrews, okay? We are playing at St. Andrews. And at St. Andrews, we know you want to bomb it off the tee. That's typically the route you're going to take if you're looking to excel here at the old course in Scotland. There are other people, though, that can play well at venues like this. If you hit it in the fairway and still nail your wedges, make your putts, keep it tidy around the greens, you are good to go. Just saying, it's going to be a wild time. The wind does not look like it's going to be up that much, which really means that this birdie percentage here at 15% is looking sexy to me. It is absolutely looking sexy. We want 15% birdie percentages in our model. If the wind blows, we take little percentages away from the birdies and we start adding it to the bogeys. That's basically it. Maybe you start ramping up there around the greens. So keep an eye on the weather. So far, it looks like it's going to be calm-ish. Keep an eye on the weather. I'm just saying, this is a Tuesday afternoon in a sunny-ass Iowa. It is a sexy God's country kind of day. So I'm pumped up. I just got done doing 25 miles on my bicycle. I'm preparing for Ragbri, about to bike across God's country in 2 weeks' time, all the way from the west of Iowa to the east of Iowa. It's going to be a fun 7 days. My butt's going to be in pain. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get into what you guys actually came here for. We are using 64% of this year's statistics, 36% of 2021 stats. History, the Open history, just links golf at the Open. The last 4 tournaments that we played, going back to 2017. 2020 was the Coco year. We don't have that. We don't like to mention that year anyway. However, that year got me into all of this stuff. So God bless that year. Namaste, the Coco virus. Also, official world golf ranking points, 10%. Last 24 rounds, aka recent form, 10 percentages to give us a total 100% weighting. Total statistics, which makes up the 70% of total stats over here. We got 15% strokes gained approach. We want guys hitting it tight, like Zach Wilson. Yes, got my Zach Wilson shirt on. I don't know if you pay too much attention to NFL, but he's out there just increasing his street cred exponentially, kind of like Xander Schauffele. Xander and Zach Wilson are basically on the same trajectory right now, doing 2 completely different things. Go research Zach Wilson, not mentioning this on a family show. 5% strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds makes up that part of the statistic model. 5% of proximity numbers from 100 to 125, 5% from 125 to 150, 4% from 150 to 175, 3%, 2%, 1% as you get further away from the hole. This is going to be a golf course that's kind of short. If the wind continues to stay breezy and not gusty, we're going to use those words. I think there's going to be a lot of wedges. And if you watch this show, you know John Rahm, wedge watch is in full effect this week. 10% around the green. These greens it's going to be bakey. It's going to be dry. People are going to miss some greens, although they are literally some of the biggest greens in the world. I think there's 7 greens that are sharing holes. So there's like really only 7, 14, there's like 11 greens out there really. Anyway, 2.5% baseline putting, 3 putt avoidance, 10% total. Putting over the last 24 rounds, 2.5%, that's rounded up. Birdie percentages, birdie opportunities, birdie making, 15%. The 2 par 5s get themselves 5% of love. When it comes to off the tee stuff, we just want distance, 15%. This is back 9 bets. We're using this to bet, okay? This model is being used to bet. We will identify a few guys that are down the rankings, like Zach Johnson, like Kevin Na, that will not necessarily make it into the model because they don't hit it that far. But we want to identify a large sample size of players to bet on that are going to give us the best opportunity to make money here. So that's the kind of idea that we're doing here. From a DFS side, feel free to flirt with a few guys that kind of hit it short but can hit the wedges tight, like Zach Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying over there. The model kicked out Justin Thomas as the number 1 ranked player. And I agree with the model. I think JT in general has been a phenomenal player this freaking year. The guy has been a poster child of consistency. His ball striking has been phenomenal. The reason his name is in red over here is my good friend T of Sports, when we were on the Turn podcast last night, said that Justin Thomas had a really, really bad Scottish Open. And guess what? He withdrew from the Travelers, I believe, with a niggly back. Sounds like a Scottish dessert, a niggly back. But he withdrew from the Travelers. And guess what? His ball striking was a disaster at the Genesis Scottish Open. He's going to be roughly 18% owned. I love Justin Thomas. The model told us to kick out a top 20 bet at plus 115. Those are very nice odds for Justin Thomas. Somebody knows something because Justin Thomas has finished basically inside the top 20, like 75% of his starts this year. Why are we getting a plus 115 price tag on him for a top 20? Something's going on. I'm okay not risking a top 20 bet on that. I'm also okay letting 18% of the field risk an injured Justin Thomas. Who knows if it actually is a thing? Also, it's an ownership play. If you don't want to play Justin Thomas at 18%, that's your reason. Bang. There you go. Everything about his game is just stunning. I mean, he's the best from 100 to 150. That's going to be a range we focus on this week. 100 to 150 is going to be critical. The boys are going to be pounding drivers. The boys are going to be hitting wedges in. The boys are going to be making birdies if the wind don't blow. That's basically the order of the day. And as you can see, we've got good approach and we got a lot of birdie makers up at the top here. Look at you. The top 5 birdie makers in the field are the top 5 guys in the model. Ain't that something you don't see now every day? Anyway, talk about me rambling on about random stuff. Justin Thomas, $10,500 on DraftKings, 18% owned. We're just kind of leaving him alone in general. I trust my boy T of Sports judgment on that one. X gon' give it to ya. The name of the podcast presented to you by rotoballer.com. We have Xander Schauffele, and I believe he is going to win this damn thing. And if you've watched this podcast a few times, you know that I'm not that big of a fan of Xander. But there's a wonderful little trend that's occurring here, and I believe it's called the Scotty trend. Scotty Scheffler never won himself any major tournament on tour, never mind a tournament on tour, until he did. And guess what? He pretty much outdueled Patrick Cantlay, but Xander Schauffele was in the same mix at the Waste Managed Phoenix Open. Xander is just on an absolute tear right now. The guy is doing everything under the sun that you could wish for to play well at this event. He's second in the field over the last 24 rounds behind Rory McIlroy. His approach play in the field, second over the last 24 rounds. His proximity from 100 to 150 is fifth in the field baseline-wise. He's got the fourth best short game in the field. When you come to St. Andrews, if you miss, short game is critical. If the wind picks up, you're going to need that. Guess what? If the wind doesn't pick up, he's got the ball striking that matters at the old course in Scotland. His three-putt avoidance on the 11 greens that we've now mathematically figured out is going on at this venue. He's fourth in three-putt avoidance. He's also fifth in birdie or better percentages. So everything about Xander Schauffele is looking sexy for this week. Speaking of sexy, we got ourselves a Bud Light Seltzer Apple Crisp. Absolutely delicious. It's from a full package bundle that you can get coming to you in fall. Not sponsored by Bud Light, by the way. Anywho, so Xander Schauffele, you can find him at 16 to 1 on PointsBet. You can find him at 71 on Circa. I think we'll be going there. Xander is just steamrolling everybody in his sights right now. The guy's playing phenomenal golf, and it's going to be totally worth capitalizing on it. So we're going with Xander. 20% owned in this field at $9,900 is a no-go zone, though. We're going to just bet him outright. That's it. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. I can't risk him at 20%. That's probably only going to go up. Meanwhile, Scotty Scheffler at $1,100 is going to be 13-ish% owned. He's going to be plus 110 on FanDuel for a top 20. We are 1 point shy of pulling the trigger there. So we're not doing that. However, we will be going to Scott Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler missed the cut last week. He played with Jon Rahm. Scotty Scheffler missed the cut at the PGA Championship. That was the only 2 times he missed the cut and the only 2 times he played with Jon Rahm this year. That was not in a Ryder Cup or whatever you want to call it. So the only 2 times Scotty Scheffler missed the cut was when he played with grumpy old John. So avoid John at all costs for Scotty Scheffler's sake, please, the PGA Tour, and he'll play well. So we've got Scotty Scheffler at 1,100 buckaroos at 13% ownership estimated. It could change. This is a Tuesday afternoon. Scotty Scheffler's ball striking over the last 24 rounds is second in this field. His approach plays third. Off the tee, he is looking at a 9th place in this field, people. He's got some 15th distance. That's a stunning number. Anything inside the top 20 is cool with me. And then you kind of scroll over to the birdie or better thing, and then Scotty Scheffler's, third, chilling. What are we doing? Why is only 13% going after a guy that makes the third most birdies in this field at 13% ownership? Yes, he's a kind of a spendy. It is what it is. Rory McIlroy makes the 4th most birdies in this field. He's 23%. Why does everyone like Rory? Well, his recent form is a lot better than Scotty. Now, do you think Rory's going to play fantastic golf this week again, 4 straight rounds? I don't know. He seems to blow one up every single tournament when it comes to majors. We do have, in our article at Breaking 100, a Rory McIlroy top 5 farewell fiver. That's basically a staple now when it comes to the majors, because he's going to blow himself out the tournament, and the next going to give it to you, win the damn thing, and Rory's going to come and backdoor top 3, top 5, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's just how he goes. So, Scotty Scheffler, give us all of that. Get him away from Jon Rahm. Around the greens, he's tidy. Recent putting situation, big problem. However, that has to do with the Jon Rahm situation. The guy just cannot play golf when he's with Jon Rahm. So we ignore that. His baseline putting is typically very good. We know he's a very good player in links golf. He's 5th in open history here over the last 4 times he's played. Let's go to Scotty Scheffler at 11K. 13% owned, signed us the hell up. 3rd ranked golfer in our model. The model maniac loves himself a good 11K Scotty Scheffler. It's served us well in the past. Next up, 4th in the model, Cam Smith. Friends, family, fans. Our favorite golfer. Plus 150 for a top 20. First bet we will be placing here on Back 9 Bets. Plus 150 on FanDuel, Cameron Smith to finish inside the top 20. He is a birdie machine. Right behind Justin Thomas, And guess what? He made the cut at the Genesis Scottish Open. And because he made the cut at the Genesis Scottish Open, he played 4 rounds in treacherous conditions and sacrificed his birdie or better percentages. Going into the Scottish Open, he had the first ranked birdie or better percentages because I had to delete that he was best in show in my article. Because now JT's leading because he only played 2 rounds. So Cam Smith sacrificed that, so he did it for the people. His recent approach play, been a little sketchy. Last 12 rounds, he's got a little cold. But we know his approach baseline, stunning stuff. Last 24 rounds. This guy, when he fires with his irons, there's only been like a handful of people that have gained 10 strokes on approach in a single event. Cam Smith has done that twice this year. So when he goes nuclear and wants to blow the kilts off all the Scotsmen in Scotland with his approach play, he can. And I believe when you go to a course that you have a wedge in your hand, Cam Smith is sensational from that yardage. He's third over the last 24 rounds from 100 to 115 proximities. He's 6th in baseline. So anytime he has a wedge in his hand, the guy is a freak show. So just know that he's a really, really good putter. And guess what? His putting has started to get better. It was a little sketchy after the Players. Now it's cooking. Now it's cooking. Maybe after Augusta. I don't know what the whatever. But he's putting better again. That's always good. Around the greens, solid stuff. The Cam Smith is going to be our outright. Him and Xander. Or one other guy. Actually, we got a few other long shots that I'm not going to suggest because I'll just mention them to you, but you can't get them because they were futures. So Cam Smith, 28-1. I believe you can still get that on DraftKings. And there's an 18% boost. So if you want to throw that on there, I think you can get it to 33-1 for Cameron Smith at a golf course that's got the most wide open fairways in the world. He's also got a new driver that's way more forgiving, and it's helping his toey hooks not go askew. Moving on. We love Cameron Smith on this channel. Plus 150 top 20. Sign us the hell up. At 21% ownership, though, we're going elsewhere. Rory McIlroy. Plus 270 on FanDuel for a top 5. And that's about it. Not going to go to Rory at 23% ownership. That's probably only going to go higher. He's 11.1K. Also, to pick him to win this damn thing is like 10-1. What the heck is that nonsense about? So nothing about Rory, odds-wise, is appealing to anybody. I mean, he's minus 150 to finish inside the top 20. Like, there's no value to his name right now. Obviously, because everything is just stunning. Recent play has just been phenomenal. Since the live stuff has surfaced, Rory has surfaced himself. He is like a superhero. He put the freaking PGA Tour cape on and decided to save all of us. And he's done a fantastic job of just making the product that we see on TV phenomenal. Maybe we just have to watch him win this thing. 10-1 can't do it. Minus 150 top 20 can't do it. 23% ownership can't do it. Top 5 plus 270. Everything about Rory, I'm not going to get into him. He's orange because it's chalk. Anything that's orange is chalk. Red, no good. Yellow, good pivot. Pink, full send. In a betting market, I don't know if you want to bet Cameron Smith, I feel like he's good chalk at 9.5K. Maybe, I don't know. People might argue with that. I love Cam Smith, so I'll like him pink. Colin Morikawa cannot play good golf in the wind. I think. That's my opinion. If you pull up Windy AF stats on him, it says he can. However, in those situations, I think he plays really well because he putts really well. You can't always rely on that. Now, he's 10.3K. And if he is anything under 10% owned and the wind is not going to be blowing, Wednesday night, pay attention to the weather. See if it's going to blow all week. If the first few days look good, Colin Morikawa is a green light special in the situation. We know what he can do in majors. We know what he's capable of from a ball striking perspective in very ideal circumstances. If he's going to be 5% owned, that just doesn't seem right to me. It makes a lot of sense because if you kind of do one of these things, we've got Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas either side of him. We've got John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy. And then you got Xander. So if you got John Rahm, Justin Thomas on top of Colin Morikawa, and then you got Jordan Spieth and Xander Schauffele underneath him, 4% seems reasonable. However, if the wind blows, Colin Morikawa is going to stay off our card. So the same thing goes for that plus 160 top 20. If the wind looks good for the week, I'll pull the trigger on that. If it looks like it's going to be blowing, I don't want anything to do with Colin Morikawa. His recent approach play is still not too bad. We know that he's hitting that draw. Colin Morikawa is the patented fade guy. We fade him in the wind when he can't hit a fade. But now, when it's not blowing, we'll hit a draw with Colin too. So history, played in one British Open. He's won one British Open. He's got the very best history you can ever have at this event. 10.3K, 4% owned, maybe a little higher than that. I love him as a pivot. Absolutely love him as a pivot. Hideki Matsuyama is the first guy we ever bet on that got disqualified from an event. So we bet him for a top 20, and he got DQ'd because he put some white out on his club. He's plus 210 to finish inside the top 20 on FanDuel. He's going to be 9% owned, which is also always nice. Look at Hideki's wedges. Look at Hideki's distance. Look at Hideki's off the tee numbers. They are all very, very nice. Off the tee, very okay. The wedges, the ball striking with the irons, sensational. The base putting, kind of a problem. But he's been putting better lately, and he makes enough birdies to contend at an event like this. He's top 10 in birdie percentages here. We love to see that. So if he's under 10% and the wind's not blowing, sign us up for Hideki. Last week, he absolutely pooped the bed. John Rahm, 10.8K, 8th ranked guy in the model. We have him as a red man because he's usually grumpy at Wedge Fest, a.k.a. putting contests. John Rahm, let's scroll over here to the last 24 rounds from 100 to 150. He's 127th in the field with the wedge in his hand. Look at all this green and pink and yellow and stuff over here. John Rahm's a bright red. What are we doing, John Rahm? He just cannot. His baseline even is 65th in proximity from 150 and in. Like, his wedges are just so bad relative to his other PGA Tour professionals. He makes a lot of birdies, but he makes a lot of those birdies on the tougher golf courses. He likes a long golf course that he can hit booming drives and then still hit a 7-iron in from 190. He doesn't like a wedge fest. He's made that very clear. I am fading John Rahm regardless of ownership. I don't think he plays well here this week. He very well could. But if I were to bet John Rahm 100 times, his wedges at this golf course tell me otherwise. Still one of the best strokes gain total players in the world, but this golf course does not suit him. And a very similar trend has cropped up for Will Zalatoris baseline-wise. Recently, he's been playing better from inside 150, but typically, he's also one of the worst, relatively speaking, elite golfers in the world from 150 to 100. He's also a John Rahm special where he hits the long irons really well. Willie Z makes birdies at a 25 ranked clip in this field. So if the wind stays down, possibly Willie Z isn't going to be able to stick with the guys making a bunch of birdies. His putting is typically very good in majors, but we have Will Zalatoris for a first-round leader because he putts very, 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 very nicely when it comes to Thursdays and Fridays. And that's what we like about Willie Z. 45 to 1. This is the Breaking 100 article. We bet $12 on a first-round leader to make $110 net winnings or $110 more. And we can do that 9 times without hitting a winner. If we do it on the 10th time, we make our money back, I think. Or we do it on the 9th time, you make your money back. So we have a decent amount of time to make our money back, yeah? And Willie Z is going to be on the first-round leader card. We want exposure to him in a major. We want exposure to him in round 1. 45 to 1 for a first-round leader, Will Zalatoris, that hits his drive. Look at the ball striking over the last 24 rounds. 3rd in this field, behind Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler. 2 of the absolute favorites in this field. So we love to see that from Willie Z. The baseline putting is a big problem, but look at this putting recently. It's the majors that he's been in, 26th in the field. Love to see that from Willie Z. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Then we got Sam Burns. Sam Burns. Sam Burns has an outright on our card for 90 to 1. We had a future. Love to see that for a 10th ranked golfer in our model. I think he's sitting around about 40 to 1 right now on the market, so we're not going to gloat about that too much. He's plus 220 for a top 20. Sam Burns, what does he do well? 22nd in distance off the tee. He's 11th in approach, and he's also very, very tidy from 100 to 150. Recently and in general, he's 10th and 8th from 150 to 100. So his wedges are sexy, and we know he hits it far. We know he can hit it long. And when he's hitting his driver well, we know he can hit it straight. He's one of the best putters on tour. He's not necessarily the best around the greens, but at this venue, guess what? You can putt from off the greens, and his 3-putt avoidance is 13th in the field. So if you're putting from off the greens, you're not even chipping. Possibly that can make your 3-putt avoidance a way more significant stat. So that's kind of why we have that as a 10% weighting in our model, because 3-putt avoidance can play a very important role, especially on a course with massive greens like this, and at a course where you can putt from off the green. So that's what you like to see. Sam Burns, plus 220 for a top 20. Sign us the hell up. Sign us the hell up. He's 8th in birdie or better percentages. The wind doesn't look like it's going to be blowing. Let's rock and roll with Samuel Burns. Then we got another guy that's in pink, Patrick Cantley, $9,400. Oh, we'll also be playing Sam Burns in DraftKings. $8,900, 11% owned. Yeah. Let's go. The guy can make birdies in bunches. He can win this thing. That's why we have the future on him at 90 to 1. He's won 3 times on this tour already this season. Let's go. Patrick Cantley cannot play in a major. We know that. That's okay. That's why he's 13% owned. $9,400. Can't get to him at plus 140. It needs to be plus 200. That's okay. What do we like from guys that make appearances in majors? What do you want to see from them? Well, you want to see a good trend of recent form. Patrick Cantley is 4th in this field in recent form. Last 24 rounds. Strokes gained total. He is not necessarily the best wedge player in the world, but he's got one of the best short games in the world. He also makes the 6th most amount of birdies. When his putter gets hot, Paddy Ice can take down Bryson DeChambeau at a driving range golf course at Caves Valley. We've seen this before. When he plays well, he can play well. And that's what we like about Patrick Cantley, $9,400, 13% owned. He's going to be in our DFS lineups. Sign us the hell up. Tony Finau, 14% owned, $8,400. He is the 12th ranked golfer in this model, and he is crushing his approach play over the last 12 rounds. Absolutely crushing it right now. He's around the green game recently. Fantastic stuff. His baseline putting is atrocious, but everything about Tony Finau's recent form is looking hot to trot. This guy has great history at Opens, generally. He's got fantastic distance off the tee. He's 15th off the tee in general. He's 26th in distance, and we know he doesn't even uncork it. If he wants to, he can absolutely send it into the atmosphere. His approach play is fantastic. The wedges, not looking so hot lately, or in general, but the approach play is just sizzling. He's around the green game. Is fantastic. I don't know why I'm selling Tony Finau when I've got him marked as chalk here, but there you have it. Also, he might be just right on the number when it comes to 200. Okay, that's enough about Tony Finau. Taylor Gooch is now a very interesting play. He's our first live member on the we got a decky, but he hasn't played an event yet. Taylor Gooch is the reason everybody went to the live tour, according to him. He's going to be 7% owned at 7.3K. Taylor Gooch's off the tee numbers, distance-wise, are awesome. His approach play over the last 12 rounds before he departed the PGA Tour was 6th. Short game is phenomenal. He's 3rd in general short game. He's 3rd around the greens. His putting is pretty very dandy. And guess what? His 3-putt avoidance is 2nd on tour when he was on this beautiful tour that gives the players so many wonderful opportunities and is not subsidized by blood money. However, each to their own. Taylor Gooch, plus 160 for a top 40. If Taylor Gooch does not make the cut, he does not make the cut. When he does make the cut, he finishes inside the top 30. Go pull up his data golf stuff. He literally has got a 20 event stretch where every cut he's made is basically inside the top 30. It is ridiculous. So plus 160 for inside the top 40 seems like an awesome bet for Taylor Gooch. Let's go there. Also, DFS, $7,300, 7% owned for our 13th ranked model guy. Let's go. These Live Tour dudes, we should put them in black. However, because they should be on the blacklist. But we're trying to make money, yeah. And Taylor Gooch at $7,300 is a very good golfer. He's going to give you a very decent floor, hopefully. So let's play him. People aren't going to want to play these live guys. Let's play them. It's okay. We have our morals. We're just betting on these guys. You know, we don't want to lose money because we got a moral high road. I guess that's exactly what they're saying, but ours is far less significant. Anyway, Jordan Spieth, 14th ranked guy in the model. What is there not to love about Jordy? Last 24 rounds, 15th in the field. Look, nothing is really popping. All of these guys above him have got a blue or a pink box associated to some sort of stat. The only stat that Jordan has that's phenomenal is his history. He is a wizard around links golf courses. And I think we'll see that again. I mean, he was in contention until he wasn't on Sunday at the Scottish. He could have made a charge at Xander, and he just had a few doubles down the stretch or a very bad run of holes. Don't like that about Jordan at all. However, when it comes to majors, when it comes to open events, like he's just fantastic. He's hitting his driver further than he normally has recently this year. Let's see what he can do. We know he's fantastic with the wedge. We know he's fantastic from awkward lies. I'll play Jordan Spieth at 10K, even though he's 17% owned, even though he's the 14th ranked guy in my model. I'm a big fan of Jordan Spieth on a links golf course. So let's play him at 17%, 10K. We're going to go. We'll eat that chalk. I like Jordan Spieth. Just everything about his game. He's won a British Open before. It's just, he's not a stat guy. You got to understand that he's going to go paint canvas on the St. Andrews canvas here. Okay, I just said canvas twice. I'll have a drink for that one. Victor Hovland. We played him last week. We had him for an outright and breaking 100. What a disgusting bet. What a dumbass move. There's pivots for ownership, and then there's dumbass pivots for ownership. Victor Hovland seems like one of those dumbass moves. Like, nothing about his game right now. He's 63rd in strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds. The guy hit a shank and then duffed a chip back to back. I mean, that happened last week. So nothing about his game is inspiring confidence. Unlike Keegan freaking Bradley. Oh, look, I just went over to the only blue box that matters for a guy that's $7,200 on DraftKings. 5% owned. 16th ranked guy in my model. And his recent play is 11th in this field of superstars. We've got everybody inside the top 20 in the world playing at this event. And Keegan Bradley's last 24 rounds is 11th. He leads the field in a field consisting of Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, all superior, supreme, elite ball strikers with their irons and possibly some of them off the tee. Keegan Bradley is first in strokes gained approach over the last 12 rounds. He is also 31st in strokes gained putting over the last 24 rounds. His last few events have not been that good on the greens. But guess what? His approach play has been sensational. His distance off the tee is actually not too bad. It's 30th. And his general off the tee game is 16th. His around the green game has been disgustingly bad lately, but typically it's very, very good. Guess what? Keegan Bradley's 3-putt avoidance is also 7th in this field. For a guy that sucks at putting, these are the last 50 rounds he's played. And he's 7th in the field in 3-putt avoidance. So we know that when he's on the green, he's going to probably 2-putt. We know that. And we know that his putting has gone well. I don't know if the Aim Point Express works on windy greens. We saw he played really well at the Wells Fargo when we were on him and he lost to Max Homa, who, by the way, we will talk about in a little bit. But Keegan Bradley, $7,200, 5% owned. He is plus what? Plus 140 for a top 40. Sign us the hell up. He's got the 11th best recent form in this field. He's fantastic. Everything about his game makes so much sense for this golf course. He's a weird dude. People don't like him. We do. Everything about his game makes complete sense. He's also plus 125 to win this golf tournament. Sign us up. It's a baby sprinkle. Bet $4, can make $500 on Keegan Bradley. $4 to $500 for Keegan Bradley to win this tournament. He's 16th in the model. I don't think there's a single guy in this range that you can find an odds number like that to win this golf tournament. He's putting better, usually, not so hot the last 2 rounds, but look at this. The last 12 rounds on approach, he's first in this field, 11th in the field the last 24, and in general he's 7th. Just everything about his ball striking. Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. So let's go to Keegan Bradley, $7,200, 5% owned. Let's go. Plus 140 for a top 40 and 125 to 1 to win the Open. Let's go, Keegan. Dustin Johnson, another Live member. Great pivot. Yellow boxes. Yellow print. 6% owned at $9,200. Just Dustin Johnson on a golf course that requires distance, that is 5th in the field. On a golf course that before he left to go play for the Saudis, he was 7th in approach over the last 12 rounds. We know that Dustin Johnson's a very good wedge player. We know he's very handy around the greens. He was not too shabby there. Now the putting, major concern. Just everything about his putting has been atrocious. We know the putting can change in a heartbeat. Makes the 11th most birdies in the field. He's $9,200, 6% owned. Definitely going to play a bit of Dustin Johnson. Max Homa, 18th in the field, 18th in the model. 25% owned per pan share. And he's not $7,900. So that makes a lot of sense, okay? I think I had a plus 100 on Max Homa for a top 40. I don't think the model's caught up to what we believe he's capable of. Plus 100 for a top 40 for Max Homa on FanDuel. I think it's like minus 120 now. Go check it out. There are other books that are, I think it's minus 110. Anyway, Max Homa, we have an outright on him, 80 to 1 to win this event. He's 7th in strokes gained total of the last 24 rounds. His distance has improved to 32nd in the field. His recent approach play of the last 24 rounds is 21st. He makes birdies in the top 30 in this field, but also that includes last year's stats. We've got 34, a third of the stats are still for last year. Max Homa is playing a much better round of golf. If it gets a bit more difficult, I think he's going to play better. Around the green games, definitely improving. 3-putt avoidance is 11th in the field, one of the better guys in this field doing that. So everything about Max Homa is just looking ideal, dudes. Everything about him is looking ideal. So we're going to go there. Absolutely sign us the hell up, Max Homa. Now, when it comes to, we placed all of these bets prior to finding out that he's going to play with Tiger Woods. Who is his idol? Who is his hero? Who is going to be drawing massive crowds at this venue? We know Max Homa gets a little shaky in these big events. We know he's only played well once at the PGA Championship when he played and finished inside the top 20, I believe, for one of the first times ever in a major. We know he's shaky. If he's going to be 25% owned because he's only $7,900, obviously he should be way higher price than that. I don't know if we can go there. There's a definite chance he just absolutely blows it. He's playing with Tiger. Anyone that plays with Tiger is probably going to blow it. So I'm concerned about Max. And at that ownership, I'm completely content to ditch him. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to go into the most historic golf course in the world, St. Andrews, and play with the GOAT, Tiger Woods. There's a chance you can get slightly overwhelmed. Let's be honest here. Okay, so Max Homa at 25% ownership, happy to take a gamble and hope that he just finishes 39th. I will take that because it's not going to pay off 25% of the field. So we're going to make money off that because we got a top 20 for him for top 40 at plus 100, 80 to 1 future on him. So that's okay. Paired with Tiger Woods, there's a good chance the guy shits the bed. So that's my one swear word for the podcast. Sorry, Mom. Max Homa, that's our opinion. Russell Henley, on the other hand, is one spot lower than Max Homa in our model. $700 cheaper, 22% less owned, and he's a much better approach player than Max Homa. He's a much more significant birdie maker than Max Homa because he just absolutely dials it in. The putting thing, a bit of a problem for Russ the Bus. But everything else about his game is completely fine. The distance thing, I don't give a crap because his accuracy, let's find the accuracy, yeah? Russell Henley's accuracy and good drives gained is 3rd and 7th in this field. So, not that we want that. See, this is what I was saying earlier, is if we change the good drives gained from distance, Russell's going to go flying up this board because he's got a 90 spot difference in that stat. You can totally make up in driving distance what you make up with accuracy. So I'm totally okay with Russell Henley being in my player pool at 3% owned. He's a 19th ranked golfer in this model. He's the best approach. He's like 4th best approach player in this field. His general approach play of the last 24 rounds is 10th. Recently, not so hot, whatever. Wedges, that's his specialty. He's so good inside 150 yards. Now and forever. Amen. Around the greens, he's got a deft touch. His 3-putt avoidance is okay, considering he's not the best putter in the world. But he also makes a lot of birdies because he hits it so damn tight. Ask Zach Wilson, he'll tell you. Russell Henley, let's go. I'm not sure why I don't have a number here for him to get to a top 40. I think he should be an obvious play. I will tweet out if I play Russell Henley. So we're going to go there. Shane Lowry, I don't think he's going to be a great play if the wind doesn't blow. He's 48th in birdie or better percentages. Yes, his approach play is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. But he's so good at scrambling. He's so good at scrambling that he plays well in tough conditions. The 3-putt avoidance, also a bit of a problem. So what are we going to do with Shane Lowry at 14% owned? We're going to not bite the bullet there. We're not going to bite the bullet. He's an Irishman playing in an event that he's won before. If the wind blows, we'll go to Shane. Absolutely. I think he plays very well in tough conditions. Plays very well in tough conditions. So we'll go to Shane Lowry if the wind blows. But in the meantime, we are going to go with Kevin Na, 21st ranked guy in the model, plus 280 for a top 40. And Kevin Na's recent approach play before we went to the Saudis is 4th in this field. In this field, that includes Russell Henley, that includes Cameron Smith, that includes Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy. All of these people, Kevin Na, over the last 24 rounds before he left, was hitting the golf ball like a madman. Guess what? His baseline wedge play, 2nd in this field. That includes Justin Thomas. That includes Colin Morikawa, Cam Smith, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Kevin Na, 2nd from 150 to 100 yards. What are we doing? He's 1% owned at 7K. What is that? Let's check his nonsense off the tee. If his off the tee stuff it's obviously going to be stunning when it comes to accuracy. Look at this. The good drives gained 37th. Accuracy 13th. So absolutely love that with Kevin Na. Keep it in the fairway. Put yourself in wedge ranges and knock them tight, Kevo. That's the basic principle here. Nobody likes you because you're a douchebag, but you're 7%, you're 1% owned at 7K. We need guys like that in our player pool. Sign us the hell up, Kevin Na. Blah, blah, blah. Joaquim Neven, 17% owned at 8K. Understandable. Look at this. Off the tee, the last 24 rounds, the guy's been diming. Distance, 12th. He's $8,000, 23rd in the model. Recent approach play, 16th. Pretty tidy with the wedges. Makes the 13th most birdies in the field. He is going to be the first round leader. His average score for round one in 2022 is gaining 3.33 strokes on the field average. The guy's he's gained like 5 or 6 strokes on the field 3 or 4 times this year. So he's a first round leader at 60-1. Cam Smith is also a first round leader at 40-1. Xander Schauffele is also a first round leader at 28-1. So those are the first round leaders. Let's get to those way too late. Apologies for that one. And then Xander, Keegan, and Cam are our outrights without talking about the boys that we have futures on. So that's what's going on there. And then let's get to our boy, Seamus. Seamus Power. He's played in 3 majors. I've got an eyelash in my eye that's giving me massive issues right now. Apologies, people. But Seamus Power for top 40 on FanDuel's plus 105. He has played in 3 majors in his career. He's finished inside the top 30 in all 3 of those majors. One of those majors was at Augusta National Golf Club, a golf course that requires prerequisites. It requires history at the venue. It requires hours and hours of learning the bounces and the nuances of the wonderful golf course that is Augusta. Seamus Power is the very first time he played in his very first major, finished inside the top 30. He then finished inside the top 20 in the next 2 majors he played in. He also finished inside the top 10 at the PGA Championship. This guy is a major specialist at this point, if you look at his 3-event track record. So everything about Seamus Power is sexy when it comes to the history at these venues. Makes the 15th most birdies on tour, and nothing about his game screams brilliance, but everything about it is just very nice. There's off the tee is his only thing that's outside of the top 50. Everything else is like very, very nice to look at. So his recent approach play, very nice. Wedge play, 23rd in the field baseline. I'm not going to blow you away with Seamus Power stats. It's just his track record is phenomenal. The last 24 rounds, he's 23rd in this field. So give me 50% chance he's going to finish out of the top 40. I'll take it. Absolutely take it. Corey Connors, Adam Scott's an awesome player. I love him. Got lots of distance. Guy doesn't have to worry about around the green stuff. You know, his 3-putt avoidance for Adam Scott's 20th in the field. If you're dodging the chipping and stuff around St. Andrews, you know, Adam Scott's around the green game is catastrophically bad, but he can putt from off those greens. So that's what we like about him. But let's get to some names we want to talk about. Corey Connors, 8% owned, 26th in the model, $8,200. Ball striking, 16th in the field. Off the tee, baseline, 6th. Wedges, 9th, baseline. Sign us up. 3-putt avoidance is inside the top 40 for a guy that's typically outside the top 50 in putting in general. Around the green stuff, not so good at all. Guess what? You can putt from off the greens. Whatever. That's okay. He also played not too shabby at the Genesis Open in Scotland last week. So I think Corey Connors isn't a bad play. We like to see him there, and he's 8% owned. He plays while he majors. Let's go. Mito Pereira, also, last 24 rounds, 20th in this field. Guy hits it a country mile. His approach play is just stunning. Everything about his approach play is just beautiful. Love to see that. Also shown some flashes of brilliance when it comes to playing well in majors. Let's go, Mito. 5% owned, $7,300. Let's go. Beb Simpson is the next guy. Matt Fitzpatrick is all the way down here, by the way. What the hell is he doing? Don't know why. Last 24 rounds, third off the, in strokes gained total. It is what it is. His last year's statistics not doing so hot. He's not very good from 100 to 150 when it comes to PGA Tour stats. And because his name got changed, I never fixed it from Matthew to Matt, and now it's not pulling it in properly. Also, I can assure you that the wedges are not the best for Matthew Fitzpatrick. They just aren't. But the general short game, fantastic. Look, Matthew and Matt, it drives me insane. Whatever. Cameron Tringali, Plus 195 for a top 40. Let's go. Cameron Tringali played fantastic last week. Was way too good in the first 2 rounds to make himself uneasy to go into the weekend. Shot plus 4 on Saturday, I think. Took his chances. I think it was a 9-shot swing to Xander. So, typically you want to shoot those 60s, those low scores on the weekend. It's just how it goes. But Cam, melts down sometimes. Webb Simpson, also a very, very wily kind of player. $7,600. We know he's a pedigreed individual. 3% owned at $7,600. Webb Simpson. Look at this. Wedge play, typically, when he plays well, he's 21st in the field. He's $7,600. Typically a very good putter. He typically makes a lot of birdies. He's coming out of an injury. There's going to be a time where he unboxes himself, when he shows the world that I'm no longer injured and this is what I'm capable of. He's $7,600. He missed the cut at the John Deere Classic. I think it hurt me a lot. I had it outright on him. I think I used him for one and done. It was rough. But we're going to go back to him. He's only going to be 3% known. He's a very, very good player. He's 31st in the model, $7,600. Let's go. Tyrrell Hatton, a lot of people are going to like him. I don't like him at all. I can't. He's a back 9 bets blacklisted individual. It is what it is. Brooks Koepka, same thing. He's got fantastic history at this golf course. But look at this. Just everything about his game is just trash right now. Absolute trash. Guy's like a giant freaking wheel of cheese right now, which is... Anyway. Cameron Young, on the other hand. $7,800, 2% owned. The guy hits it a country mile. Second in distance behind Rory. First off the tee last 24 rounds. Second off the tee in general. The problem is his recent approach play has gone very sour. He just has had absolute meltdowns. If he bounces back to how he's absolutely capable of playing golf, we know he can play good. So, also a very interesting thing about Cam Young is he's really, really bad for a guy that hits it really, really far on par 5s. There's only 2 of those on this course. He makes the 12th most birdies on tour. At this venue, he can be putting for eagle a lot more than a lot of people. And he's $7,800, 2% owned. Let's go. That's the green light here. The blue boxes right here. Cameron Young. Whoop, whoop. Let's go. Emiliano Grillo, 37th in the model. 2% owned, $6,700. We had him pegged at the John Deere Classic. We had him for a top 20 at plus 480. Thank you, Emiliano Grillo. We're going back to you for a top 40 at plus 280. Yes, it's not a top 20. It's a top 40. And guess what, dude? Just go ball strike it. Off the tee, top 20 stuff. Distance, very, very nice. Wedges, 18th. Baseline. Recent 24 rounds, 27th. We'll take it. Makes the 21st most birdies in the field. We'll take it. It's the around the green stuff that's the problem. But if there's not going to be a lot of wind, you can hit your wedges close, make a lot of birdies. That's what we're planning right now. We will adjust our strategy if we look at the weather tomorrow evening and it's going to be windy. I don't think I want Emiliano Grillo scrambling around the burny, dry, crusty, dusty St. Andrews golf course. So that's that. Sahith Theegala is a great pivot as well, $7,100, 3% owned. You know what's going on there. Tommy Fleetwood in windy conditions. Sign me up. Look at the ball striking. It's like average. The wedges recently, very nice. But guess what? The short game is where he shines. Around the green, putting, blah-de-blah. He makes his birdie percentage is 59th in the field. So typically, Tommy Fleetwood doesn't make a lot of birdies, but goddamn, he can save pars. And when the wind blows, that's what you want. And that's why Tommy almost won last week. What was the winning score? -7? If it gets to -20, I don't know about Thomas the Tank. Got great history here at the Opens. Why? Because it's windy as balls all the time. If it doesn't blow, I'm out on Tommy. And 22% of people are going to be crap out of luck because he doesn't make birdies. Usually, maybe he does. He's looking like he's gaining some form lately. But I don't know. Don't know about him. Sung Jae Im after Coco. Don't trust him at all, even though, yeah, whatever. Chris Kirk, 42nd in the model, 4% owned, $6,800. Hello, Chris Kirk. Yes. 36th in the field, last 24 rounds, 22nd in general baseline strokes gained total. Look at this around the green game for Chris Kirk. Super tidy. 3-putt avoidance, 23rd in the field. Doesn't make a lot of birdies, but he's $6,800 and he's 4% owned. The guy is a ball striking machine. Recently, the approach play has gone a little sour, but we know he's a very good golfer. $6,800, 4% owned Chris Kirk. What are we doing? Sign us up. I'll be playing him quite a lot. Abraham Answer is another guy that we have got in our sights as a Live Tour member. 2% owned, $7,600. His accuracy is a phenomenal weapon for him. He's going to use that a lot here. His wedges are typically not too shabby. They're around the green game, a bit of a problem, but guess what? If the wind's not blowing, hello, not going to be using that much. If the wind blows, sign Abe Answer off the card. Don't want him. Eric van Rooyen, blah, not really interested there. Louis Oosthuizen. If the wind blows, sign him up. I don't think he's in good enough form right now to... I don't know. We don't know if he's in good enough form. He's playing on the Live Tour. He's my South African boykie. I'm not going to talk crap about him. But nothing about his game, apart from the short game that you have to rely on when it gets windy. He's like a Tommy Fleetwood, but just way more likable because he's from my country. Gary Woodland also played very well last week. He just jacks it off the tee. Distance-wise, fantastic stuff. The putting recently, not so good. Not so good from Gary. 12% owned, 7,100%. If we're going to get to a situation where you've got to have to make a lot of birdies, Gary's not putting well enough to make those birdies. So, sorry, Gary, not playing you with the other 12% of people. Stuart Sink makes a lot of birdies, 42nd in the field. He's $6,800, 1% owned. Yes, sign us up. He plays well from the wedge range. Let's go Stewie Sink. Also jacks it off the tee. Patrick Reed, if the wind blows, play him. Look at the short game. Stunning stuff. Birdie or better percentages, not so hot from Paddy Reed. Wyndham Clark, though. Yes, 3-putt avoidance, fantastic stuff. Love to see that from Wyndham Clark. 3rd in distance. Guy absolutely nukes it off the tee. $6,600, 1% owned. Played fantastic last week. Helped me make some money in DFS in an absolute week that was a bloodbath. So thank you, Wyndham. Jumping all the way down to Zach Johnson, who's going to be $6,500, 1% owned. Doesn't hit it very far off the tee. But guess what? From 100 to 150, the guy, when he plays, we know Zach Johnson, wedge specialist, absolutely crushes it. And then the short game, fantastic. 3-putt avoidance, 5th in the field. Got a very good history around links golf courses too. But also probably a guy I'd lean on a little bit more when it comes to saving pars in windier conditions. So maybe just sprinkle him a bit when in current windy conditions, when it's kind of just breezy and not too windy. Richard Bland is another guy. Got decent distance for an old guy. Just had his Achilles repaired not so long ago. His approach play is not too shabby. I think he's an English chap. So hopefully he can play well at a course that he may or may not have played at several times growing up. $6,500, 1% owned. He's one of the few European Tour guys that I actually think is going to play well this week that I'm familiar with. Justin Harding is another guy, along with there's Dini. Okay, we'll get to him in a little bit. So Justin Harding, mentioned him, just kind of rattling off names. Brandon Wu, $6,100, and his ball striking is 49th in this field. We love to see that. The around the green game, very sketchy. The putting, very sketchy, but he played very well last week, and he also makes a decent clip of birdies. So whatever. Brandon Wu, let's go. Jamie Donaldson, same situation as Brandon Wu. Both these guys made it into the Open, courtesy of their great finish at the Scottish. Both $6,100 and $6,300, 1% owned. Let's go to those guys. Another guy I like, Dean Burmester, $6,700 off the tee. Recently, very, very nice. Hits it quite far. He led the Scottish Open in distance off the tee last week, so he knows how to get his ball traveling on a links golf course. Very handy around the green, typically not too shabby when it comes to playing at links golf venues at the Open. And that, my friends and family and fans, concludes this week's episode presented to you by Rotoballer. Thank you, Rotoballer, so much for your support behind me. If you are still with me, go and comment on the YouTube channel who you think is going to ball out. and we will find a lucky commenter to get your name into the pot for a premium pass of rotoballer.com's premium package, where you can get all sorts of awesome stuff from us there. And if you are keen on joining us more, you can use the Maniac code for 10% off our 50% off whole shebang. Blah, blah, blah. You go to the beginning of the show, listen to all that stuff I just read. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's going to be a great week at the Open. I'm going to be staying up far too late to watch golf. I'm going to be sleep deprived. And you know what? Cam Smith's going to go win this thing. If not, it's going to be Keegan. If not, it's going to be Xander. If not, it's going to be Sam Burns. And if not, if Max Homa can survive playing with Tiger Woods, he's going to play well too. That being said, folks, thank you for tuning in. I will see you soon. And good luck this week. Linda Q out.